My name is Jason Dozwa. I'm the narrative director on Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
My name is Heath Smith. I'm the lead game designer on Shadow of the Tomb Raider for ITW Montreal.
Narrative director is a good title. It sounds well. But what do you really do day after day for the game?
I make sure and do coordination that the structure, every narrative element in the game is well implemented in the game. So I manage the team of writers who write the story, and I manage the diplomacy between all the departments to make sure that it's implemented correctly. Art, sound, level design, game design, to make sure that we have a coherent experience, because ultimately we want to feel specific emotions of the story, so I'm responsible for making sure that all that is felt when you play.
Why you?
Why me? I don't know. My previous game was Mankind Divided, where I had the same title, and I worked at the studio, and one day they said, "You will do this now." That's the short answer. The long answer is I'm very passionate about stories. I'm a huge Tomb Raider fan, and it was a great privilege to work on this title.
And now, the same question for you, except you work as a lead game designer.
Right, so lead game designer, it's similar to Jason. It's management of designers, and we are in charge of what we call the systems of the game. So the rules, enemy archetype, Lara's abilities, these things. And we work very closely with the other department, especially the level design, which is the space and the storytelling of the game.
I'm sure you know my next question. Why you?
Well, I actually worked on Rise of the Tomb Raider, the previous title, working on some challenge tomb, etc. And when we were given the opportunity to lead on Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it was a natural progression for me.
Of all that you have done in the game, what is the thing you are most proud of?
The one point I'm overall the most proud of is really just the dramatic elements. Tomb Raider 2013 and Rise of the Tomb Raider, it was very much survival, external conflicts. And I think now we're going inside to Lara, internal conflicts and interpersonal conflicts. And all those three levels, because we still have the survival aspect as well, those three levels of conflict working together is what I'm most proud of.
I think personally, but also the team, we feel very strongly about what we call living, breathing world or living history. It's something new for the franchise. It means that when Lara gets to the tomb, she is not alone. So previously, she gets to the tomb or the lost city, everyone is dead, and she reads a lot of tablets with skeleton around. Now there's people, and how does the gameplay change? How does the narrative change? So we really had a big challenge, but we feel it's very rewarding to adapt the Tomb Raider hub to be full of people, and how do we flesh out the player experience for that? So there's a lot more chance for interaction with people and learning from them.
With this new game, darker, more evolved, do you think that the precedents are a little outdated?
No. I think it's a continuation. It's one big story. It's one meta story. From the conception, they wanted to do a trilogy. They wanted to show the origin story. What was Lara like before becoming the Tomb Raider? And this is the conclusion of that origin story. So we really kept the momentum of the previous two games. As you found out at the end of Rise, is that, you know, her father was killed by Trinity, and now she's going out there. But there's been an evolution of the character all the way, and ours is just the conclusion of that same story.
Oh no, well, I worked on the previous game, so we really feel it's an iteration. It's taking it to the logical next step. So in Rise of the Tomb Raider, underwater, there was no underwater. It was all frozen. It was in the middle of Siberia. So now the ice has thawed and you can swim underwater. So this is normal for us to bring this element gameplay-wise. Also with the new setting, the jungle, you know, there's no mud in the ice either. So it's frozen. So we look to inspiration from the new setting, the jungle, to create new gameplay experiences. So it's not so much obsolete as it's a new and different element we bring new.
Working on a license as strong as all as Tomb Raider, is not it stressful? The expectations of fans, and Square Enix probably, do not put you a edge pressure?
It's a tremendous responsibility to take on this story. I mean, we had the privilege of having two games before, and we already have a momentum. We already have an established character with a characterization and personality that's very set. So that's a bit easier than starting from scratch, you know. So we already had the trajectory, and we knew where we want it to end. We just didn't know exactly how it was going to work. So that comes a lot of iteration and a lot of responsibility to make sure that is we're giving a suitable challenge, that we're increasing the capacity, the capabilities of this character, and that means the challenges must be more difficult. So that is not only in the gameplay, as Heath was saying, but also with herself, her questioning herself and becoming, in this thing at the beginning of the game, a little darker, and then trying to, resolve these problems that are within her that are now spilling out to the world. So she really needs to, at the end of this game, realize and make an adult decision. She's not a young person anymore. She's getting to be a more mature adult, and this has an adult problem to solve.
Now, I can speak to the gameplay side of that. Like, obviously, it's a great challenge, but it's also a great privilege. And we took not only inspiration from the new setting, the jungle, but we took inspiration from the original Tomb Raider. When we look at the original Tomb Raider, Lara is doing a lot of spelunking, rappelling, running along the wall, and underwater swimming. And so one of the primary reasons we chose the jungle as the new setting is this is the third game of the Origin trilogy, and she's heading towards that becoming the Tomb Raider, right? So how can we, in a way, provide a challenge to her that enables us as game designers to complete her skill set and allow the player to be able to do all the things they could do in the old game. So we feel it's like a great privilege almost to be able to bring her to the point she was in those original titles.
When you want to change, add or remove something in the story or the gameplay, do you decide it alone as you are leaders, or is it a long collective process?
There's multiple levels. We talk about the how, the what, and the why. We always start with a why. What is the mission? We want to feel a certain way. So that rarely changes. That is established by the creative vision of the project. As you go down, you have the what. What is it going to be? Is it swimming? Is it? So that will stay consistent. How we do it, a lot of iteration. We try things out because we want to make sure that it tests well. So there's a lot of iteration in the how we do it, but the what and the why, not very much. So to get a new why, well, that's the creative vision of the project. That's set in the pre-production, and that doesn't change. The what we can discuss. So if we have a variation on the what, we can have a discussion. But we still need to. It's a committee, a group. Where it's not one person doing whatever they want. We need to work as a group together. And the how, it's the iteration. The people making the level, making the experience. They will find iterations to find the best way to do it.
Yeah, I can, again, like on the gameplay side, we start with something very high level. So we start with, it's about survival. This series is about survival. And we say, in this game, Lara has to understand that she has to stop and listen and understand knowledge about things. So maybe something that is deadly can actually be seen as something that can help you, or it has a positive side. So we start with these high-level concept, and then we break it down. Okay, where are we? We're in the jungle, right? Okay, what's in the jungle that can kill you? Well, plants, animals, all these things. Okay, how can we make a gameplay around that? What if some plant that can kill you can also heal you or cure you? And from that, we may develop a new feature, like using the herb to create a gameplay benefit for the player. So this also shows Lara's growth in that she's not just healing and reacting to being injured, but she's being proactive and and looking ahead of what she will need to face. And so generally what we do is we start with high-level goal, and then we break down, and then we have low-level, the how, as Jason said, and that will change a lot. This doesn't change that much because this has to stay consistent through the project, so we have a consistency of tone and experience.
Now we can adjust the difficulty in independent stages, puzzle, platform, or combat, and not only on a global way. So why this original choice?
It was a very organic thing. Some is it from the community, some from playtesting. The combat difficulty was always there. How many hit points how much damage can you take to make the combat easier? I think from the exploration, the community were very vocal. Some people like the help, some people don't want any. And for puzzles, for us, it was very much an iteration. Some people want to be lost and they want to figure it out and they never want a hint. And some people want a hint right away. And that took us a lot of playtesting to get that, because we were trying to find how long is it? Is it 2 minutes? Is it 3 minutes before we give you a hint? And we decided no. For some people, it's never, and they play on difficult, hard, and some people it's right away, and then it's easy. mode. And then we did 2 levels of what kind of dialogue hint are we going to give you. On medium, we just give you the general hint. If you're thirsty, we'll say, well, you're thirsty. On easy, we'll say, take a glass of water and fill it up with water. And fill it up. So we're going to give you the answer. So instead of going to YouTube to find a solution, you can put it on easy, and then Lara will help you.
You have also added an extreme difficulty mode, Obsession Mortelle, for hardcore gamers. Are you curious to know how many people will use it?
I am curious because I'm not that kind of player, and I see extreme difficult and no save, and you have to light all the campfires and do and no auto save. I was like, it's terrifying. Like it's in some places I've played the game, many times, and I still don't feel confident enough to do it with never dying. So it's a very nerve-wracking thing, but it's a wonderful achievement to get through it. And I think is there a costume? What do you get a reward when you do that? Anyway, there's a really
there is a
rewards.
reward. Yes,
there's really good rewards to finish it, but I don't know. I'm not going to do it. I'll play on medium.
I think I would not do it for my first playthrough, but which might be a little hardcore. But I think definitely playing again, and sometimes after you finish, you want to experience it again and try different play styles. Because one of the things we did with this game is we give a lot more flexibility to players to play the Lara Croft that they want to play. We have a deeper skills tree. We have a lot more customization in how you want to play. For example, we have non-lethal combat tools where you can stun the enemy. We have a combat where you can disappear. You don't always have to engage. There are some times where you have to kill or be killed, but on the whole, we give you a lot more flexibility in how you want to customize your Lara. So it's quite possible that you could go through the game and you could spend your experience on playing a very stealth-based game, and then you could play again and on Deadly Obsession and put all your skills, experience into assault and protection against that, which might be a good idea actually for that mode. So I think that is a really intriguing prospect, the fact that someone can play again and get a almost completely different gameplay experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Forget who you really are and just become 2 friends who love video games. One of you has bought Shadow of the Tomb Raider and has to convince the other to buy the game. Without any marketing arguments, just speak with your heart.
He's a very different player than me. Why I would buy it is the in-depth story, because I'm biased. But I also love the exploration. I think you're a completionist, so I'd say all the things you can do and all the threads of the narrative through the collectibles are really well placed and really fun to find.
He took the words out of my mouth, because I am a completionist. I have to collect every single thing, no matter how long the game is. So I would say yes, buy it, because if you do all the secondary, what we call secondary content, but the non-main storyline is about the same length, but if you do all the extra, it's the longest Tomb Raider of the 3. Yeah. It's really, really a lot of content. So, and I really enjoy that, being a completionist. I enjoy hunting down every artifact, reading every mural, talking to every person. So that's why I would recommend it to my friends.